A typical day in Yongle's life could cover much of his private city.
This courtyard and the palace behind me is the most sacred location in the entire Forbidden City.
The Palace of Heavenly Purity.
Every morning he would rise at about 4 o'clock and he would come down this central pathway. Only he could pass along the central line for the dawn audience.
Where tourists walk today was once forbidden to anyone but the emperor and his eunuch officials.
The Yongle Emperor would have come out from this gate here in his private quarters, walked down these steps, and probably if it was winter, he would have come to these great cauldrons, which are now brass but originally covered in gold leaf, and put his hand inside to make sure that there was no ice.
These are the Forbidden City's fire extinguishers, essential in a palace made from wood. The eunuch mandarins would gather here in silence, filling the courtyard in front of the city's grandest structure, the Hall of Supreme Harmony.
This is the heart of the Forbidden City, and therefore of Ming China as a whole. Right at the center is the throne, where the Yongle Emperor would have sat. He would have faced directly south. All of his other officials would have faced north.
The emperor faced south, so he could view the entire empire from his throne.
This throne hall was the location of the most solemn ceremonies.
10,000 eunuch mandarins and guards filled the courtyard to kowtow before His Majesty. Beyond the ceremony, much of Yongle's day was filled with bureaucracy and decision-making to run the Ming Empire. Stretching from Vietnam in the south to Mongolia in the north.
The Yongle Emperor and the Forbidden City as a whole was not a closed-off place. It was sacred, yes, but it received all the information that was pouring in from all over the empire. Every moment was scheduled. So the Yongle Emperor was a very active emperor, so he worked extremely hard. He would probably go to bed by 10 o'clock at night. Depending on which concubine was right for him that night, then that concubine would be brought to sleep with him.
Following the death of his wife, the Empress Su, Yongle never installed a new empress. But he continued to bring young women, many of them Korean, into the palace. Around 2,000 courtesans filled Yongle's immense harem.
This is a part of the Forbidden City history that's oftentimes neglected. It can be a brutally competitive environment. Only a small number will rise to great positions of authority and prestige.
Yongle's opulent palace was a cutthroat environment. Today, on a street just to the east of the Forbidden City's walls, was where Yongle housed his secret police and their torture chambers. The Eastern Depot. Anyone who opposed him was executed. Many of his top ministers spent most of their time in prison. And a network of spies reported on everyone from the generals to local bureaucrats. But Yongle's world was not only about terror and control. He promoted Confucian ideals and scholarship, leading to a renaissance in art and literature.
This is a reprint of the Yongle Emperor, the great encyclopedia that Yongle ordered.
The Yongle Emperor is a colossal 11,000-volume encyclopedia.
He ordered his officials to go round all the empire to gather all the books and to write them down and copy them into this work.
It took 2,000 scholars 3 years to compile.
It was an enormous undertaking. There originally were more than 22,000 chapters, and perhaps 7,000 to 8,000 books were copied into this work.
One reason for this project was to keep the scholars busy. But Yongle would also review this collection of writings on religion, philosophy, science, plays and poetry.
He had a Confucian education, so he wanted all the books written into this one encyclopedia so that he could look at it.
The Renaissance in the arts under Yongle's patronage led to new heights in painting, especially in the Forbidden City.
这些都跟朱棣本人，这个搞文治、搞这个文化建设本身跟这个有关系，而这个东西影响其实是超过他那些军事活动的。